right. Good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon. Good evening as well. Last day.
I know.
Adobe Live here.
I'm excited.
Yeah, excited, and then you get a little choked up after a while because toward the end you're like, no, and you can feel free, man. Come back anytime if you want to drop in. I know you're not terribly far, so this is good.
Just around the corner.
That's awesome.
Actually,
very good. So good morning, everyone. Farouk, Laura, Joe.
Laura's back.
Yes, good thing.
Joe?
Seeing as she's an integral part of your app, which is nice. But this is day 3. We have Marc Reisen going for a couple hours today. Zach Lennon, Timothy Hikes, Catherine Wang is going to finish out the day. So hang out with us as long as you can. That'd be awesome. And tell your friends about us, and that would be great. And let us know if it's your first time here. Other than that, super awesome. Always seeing some friendly faces.
I mean, it's great to see that sweater.
Yeah, it's a little loud. It's a little much.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's yelling. But I like how the background is, like I was saying this earlier, is very much like you match your side, I match my side.
Yep. We match the contrast.
All right. Happy holidays, everyone. Fantastic. So, we've been working on this app, or actually we haven't been, you have been.
You've been helping. Everybody's been helping, actually. We got the name from the team. Definitely got some logos sent over. But yeah, we're focused on a mindfulness assistant, and I've got to be honest, so I was a little bit excited. And last night I went into some of the work, and I kind of cleaned things up a little bit, just so we could have some quality pieces to look at.
Yeah, and even, I don't know if you could take a step back and, like, this is just as if it's my very first time seeing this. Actually, what product are we even in?
Yeah, so we're using Adobe XD right now, and we've been using it as kind of not only a presentation tool where I've been able to walk people through just some of the content that we're talking, but also through a real-life design tool. We went kind of from mid-fidelity all the way up to now high fidelity, and that's what I kind of took it into last night, was adding in final imagery and tweaking some pixels.
It's been fun seeing this kind of evolve over the course of 3 days, because you did literally start it out on using a mobile app, Adobe Photoshop Sketch. You're just sketching out all the screens and sort of, kind of going through that whole workflow, and then lo-fi. Now we're like, getting into the hi-fi-is of this, which is awesome. Doesn't it look nice? Zen. Thank you. I don't remember who came up with the name, but we appreciate it. Because you guys, everybody here has helped us out a lot. So yeah. Matthias, good to see you. Chandra. Oh, and by the way, we have a contest. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Actually, I guess I could talk about it now, since we do need to, you can get started on it right away, but essentially we have this contest. We've had this, contest today for the past 3 days, and today I'm super excited about this one. It's a smartwatch. So, like, create a prototype for which was behind us.
There's one behind me.
Exactly. Smartwatch experience. You could download the template right here. And by the way, where am I? Oh, right up here. You might be in chat. Just click on contest and then download this file. Create a link and then submit through this bit.ly. And just so you can see it, here it is. Open that up. This is just a starting point, but we do say just at least link 3 screens together. Oh, wow. You don't have to use these circles or anything. You don't. You can come up with anything that you want. In fact, honestly, kind of the ones that are more different tend to stand out a little more. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
As we review them. And again, we'll be giving away Creative Cloud for a year. We'll do that in about an hour and a half. So at 10:30. is when we'll review them, get them in early, and we will review them as soon as we get them. And then also we'll have some random giveaways between now and then too. So it's kind of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, Joris, do a rounded smartwatch. Do whatever you want. I know some people actually don't like, say, Apple Watches because they don't like how they're square. In most smartwatches, I think Michael Kors might have one that has notifications. There are some watches out there that are circular.
Yeah, there's the 360, which I think is a Motorola Android watch, which has a round face on it. There's also some products that kind of cross both thresholds of being classical, kind of traditional face, with also digital components. So
I actually like
interesting.
those. I like those ones that look like just a normal watch, classy watch, and then you get notifications, or it's tracking your steps. But also think outside the box for this. Like, it doesn't have to. You can think of new ideas. Like, pretend like it can maybe capture more data than you think it can. Pretend like it can get your, again, it can easily get your blood pressure, but can it get other vital signs, for instance?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I've appreciated about all the exercises this week is everybody's applied the context. When we were looking at car UI, people were actually thinking about, well, what's going to be valuable information? When people were thinking about the refrigerator app, what's going to be important context to have when I'm looking through these UI? And so I can only expect it's going to be the same thing today for the smartwatch.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, we had a smart fridge yesterday. We had sort of an in-car experience. We've had over 130 submissions, which has been awesome.
Wow.
Everybody's been working away, man. I'm so
Way faster
proud.
than me.
It's amazing.
Way faster.
But you're talking through this, by the way.
That's true.
We're really diving into this. I will point out, and actually this is something that you did, but once you... or I think you just published out a link, but come up here, you're going to publish out a prototype. It would just be really helpful if you put your name right here so we can just kind of say your name and make sure you get credit for it. And that's the link that you're going to submit to the bit.ly through the contest tab. But let's
I'm pumped too, Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Cool.
I'm rooting for you, Tyrone. Tyrone was like, man, I never win. He said that yesterday. I was like, man, come on, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for everyone. I want you to win. My sweater's rooting for you.
Cool.
All right.
All right, so should we do a brief recap?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so just for everyone with us today, what we first of all, I wanted to make sure I was matching my emoji today, so I've got the glasses on. And
when is that emoji going to have a beard, since beards are so popular? Because then it'd be like spot on.
They should have a beard. That'd be great. We'll get on that. So just for everybody that's joining us, and also people that have kind of been following us all week, we're focused on first user experience. Pretty important part of any kind of product experience, often overlooked. We tend to kind of jump straight into the screens and the product right away, and kind of forget what's the why, what's the reason, what's the rationale that we're covering into, making sure that this product fulfills the customer expectations. So the audience is obviously for beginners, anyone interested in product design, mobile product designers, and we're focused on iOS. I think this is something we actually spent a little bit of time on, which was just covering so this is the flowing funnel of conversion.
Yeah.
But really what I'm trying to illustrate here, and obviously this isn't backed by data, it's just a simple infographic to kind of help explain that as more and more customers are exposed to certain milestones of your product, there's a potential to lose those customers. And you lose those customers when either they just decided, hey, this product isn't for me, which is fine, or they say, I don't really understand how to use it. But there's all these points where they can potentially drop off, but there's also opportunities to help win them over and fulfill those expectations. So we talked about touching the app icon, landing into the application, engaging through sign up, create, invite, basically doing a thing. And then there's this opportunity to delight them, which is I come in and I have friends. Wow, there's people following me. I have filters and I can create amazing photography now. But basically it's like I can be awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what's really cool for products is that when you're sharing content and creating content, you want to share it with other people and you want to feel empowered.
Yeah. And I really do like this, and I feel like you really have thought a lot about this as you've developed this app and made it as easy as possible for people.
Yeah, and so absolutely. And so as I shared this morning, that I went kind of and revisited it, I found out that I was not being mindful in the way that we were executing, and that I kind of forgot about our persona and I kind of forgot about some things. So I spent some time last night going back into it and analyzing and saying, okay, let's bring Amy back into the equation, who's the persona that we chose. Let's make sure that we fulfill some of the principles that we talked about, which is continuity and simplicity. And so those are some things that we'll kind of cover today. And so as you go through this experience, we're answering the what, the why, and the how. And then what, the why, and the how end up being is how we establish value. And then through magic and delight of cool experiences, cool animations, that's how we fulfill the promise.
Yeah, cool. This is fun because I know you've done some work on this, and we'll publish out a prototype, share that with you, and we hope you hit those like milestones. So we hope you're like delighted at certain points, and we want to kind of hear about it too.
Yeah, and I have a way to identify those opportunities, which is a meteor moment. And so this is a way for me as I'm going through designs. One, it's fun because it's got a comet and the colors are just so vibrant. But it's a way for me to identify. At some point, we need to go back and revisit this design, and we need to explore what's going to be the interaction, what's going to be the animation that happens here. You know, maybe it's when we tap a button, confetti explodes, or maybe it's a full screen color fill. But maybe there's something amazing that happens that can kind of wow people. Some really good examples of these happen in pull to refresh, and I don't know if people use Yelp, but Yelp charmed everyone when they kind of had the chicken that went into the rocket ship, and when you went pull to refresh, it would kind of like shoot off the screen.
Yeah,
and it was it's just something you don't expect, but it's a lot of fun to kind of see somebody spend design and craft time on something like that.
Totally. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay, so as I enter some random text, just to make sure that we do bring it back, so we identify this persona. In this case, Laura is our mindfulness assistant, and she's helping Amy through this product.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, Laura. I saw her in chat earlier.
Yeah. We can find another volunteer today. We can give Laura a break. She's been working really hard. But we wanted to make sure we brought Amy back in because this is what helps shape the product and help fulfill the promise for her. So Amy's a creative director. She's a people manager. Mindfulness is important to her because as she's working with other people, it's really important to be present and also just to make sure that she's a really good listener as she's working with her peers and colleagues. So in this case, she prides herself on as an early adopter. Her news sources are her friends, and meditation and listening brings mindfulness to her.
Yeah, and I think it's like kind of important to point out sometimes is like you're making an app that you may or may not be the audience for it. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, and some of the best projects are when you're not designing for yourself, to be honest, because you feel like you have an understanding of yourself and the things that you're into, but when you have to challenge yourself to think outside and to apply empathy to someone else, it's a totally new experience. It's new senses, it's new exposure. Some of the best projects, that I've worked on have always been designing something I have very little context in.
Yeah, no, this is good. But luckily for us, mindfulness is important. And
Absolutely.
very popular. So this works for us.
Okay, so let's just go into where we left off. So as I said, I went back in and kind of started touching up some of these pieces. I wanted to make sure that from the flow we covered the first touch point, which is the app icon. And so here we're seeing our Zen app nestled to several of the Atlassian mobile products. I don't know how they got in there. They must have just downloaded themselves.
I love it.
But yeah, these are some products that we've been working on, which we're all really excited about. Mobile's new for Atlassian, and it's something that I was a part of for about a year and a half, and That's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Mad props, man. Just awesome. And I love this whole idea is you literally mocked up sort of the initial, home screen, if you will. So literally from the icon, launching the app.
Yeah, so we'll tap the app icon, and this takes us into the launch screen. The launch screen is something we identified as kind of the first product experience, but it's something that quickly fades and transitions. And this is a way to help you transition it into the app anytime you open it. So whether you're coming back into a chat or whether you're coming into discovery and metrics, the launch screen helps you kind of make sure that something's happening in the background and then introduce you back into the product.
Can you go full screen with that too? Just because
I sure can.
It's so glorious.
Yeah, should we just click through and walk?
Yeah.
All right. So we have our value proposition screens. Value proposition screens are a way to basically fulfill the customer value and communicate what the product is about. So I'm sure everybody's familiar with these if you've ever touched a mobile product. So something kind of funny I noticed when we were adding these images, the subject matter is kind of always centered. and it's always pointing up at the logo. Now, from a composition standpoint, this is a really good way to help frame where the eye is going to go, and it helps lead you back into the icon. So, funny happenstance, very serendipitous.
No, you did it on purpose.
I totally was intentional. Yeah, so...
I love it.
And look.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Happened again.
Look at that. I love how this one's just slightly off. This is my favorite composition. This is nice.
Well, I think that's you, actually.
It is.
We took that this morning at sunrise.
I did. Just out there shirtless on the beach in 20-degree weather. No.
Well, then we had to get you a sweater.
Then we had to buy me a sweater, and this is the only one we could find. So, hey, what are you going to do?
Cool. So these images are, I downloaded these images last night and added them to our shared folder. So all these images came from Adobe stock, nice. And now they're in my Adobe library. So we can click and update these images.
Okay.
So now we're going to go into the sign-up experience. Now, sign-up is something we identified as just sometimes necessary, sometimes not. There's different workarounds. I wanted to spend a little bit of time. So for everybody that's rejoining us, we had some different colors on these screens yesterday. And as I went back to work, I shared this with my peers. I got some feedback. I'm always trying to solicit feedback. And one of the things we have to focus on in kind of the professional setting is accessibility. And accessibility comes in the form of how legible is your content. It can come into, are you being sensitive to people that are color sensitive?
Yeah.
And are there people that are colorblind, and can they see these things? So if you remember, we had this kind of purple transitioning to a blue, and we had this white text. And what we were struggling with was actually the contrast levels. And is this text as legible as possible as it could be? In other words, could I show this app to anybody? And so one of the things that we use is actually an accessibility calculator. And they're free, they're online, you can find them in Google. But what you do is you put in the background color that you're choosing, and then you put in the foreground color. And then what it'll do is it'll give you a rating and say how legible or how effective are the contrast levels of this text. So I went back last night, went through some accessibility, revisited the colors, and just kind of upped the contrast so that the text was a little bit more legible. So that's why we're seeing this deeper, darker purple. So
okay.
I hope everybody agrees. I hope they love it.
No, I think it works.
Cool.
And on that note, like, there's a certain percentage, 8% of males and 6% of females, thanks Google, are colorblind. So they can't differentiate, say, red and green. And luckily, we're not using red and green, but trying to differentiate those two would be kind of difficult.
Yep.
For a certain percentage.
Absolutely. And accessibility also goes into people that have actually no sight. And how can you have voiceover on a website that actually reads through the hierarchy of saying, okay, first thing is email, second thing is password, sign up. And then that way somebody who's tapping on the screen understands the hierarchy even though they can't see the content.
And this is really interesting for our mindfulness app, because will there be a point to where maybe you are meditating and it asks you to close your eyes and you're like no longer navigating screens, but do we have any sort of audio interaction
That'd be
or something
cool.
like that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So here's simple interactions of going in through email and password. In this case, we're using the title to make sure you always know what it is that you need to be entering in the input field, and then we have some preview text that's basically explaining what we're asking you to do. So in this case, it's create a password. Then we go to sign up. And so this is a screen that I started to revisit last night. So now what we're doing is we're through, relative easy interactions of just having to sign up. We're now into the product, and you're now having your first experience of established value. Hello, my name is Laura. I'm your personal assistant here to guide you towards mindfulness. I added a little button that says change assistant in case you wanted to find somebody else. So if somebody wants if we want to explore that, we can go and design that. And so the first thing we're asking to do is say hi if you agree, and then throw back to kind of our first day. Mindfulness is like warm socks.
Oh, they are. That's nice.
Which I think we're giving away today.
Yeah, looks like over here. Some fancy socks. We will be giving these away. PX, these PX socks. Oh wait, XD. These XD socks, we'll be giving them away in about 40 minutes. Because again, we want you to be warm this winter time.
Absolutely.
If you're in the northern hemisphere, or wear them anytime.
Thanks for the feedback, Rajesh.
Yeah.
So we're asking you to say hi. Boom. Hit the high five button. So if I escape out of this, just to show, in this flow, I identified this as a meteor moment. Tapping this button could, the hand could kind of explode out into the screen. It could scale. It could wiggle. We could do all types of things, but giving you an acknowledgement. We could even do haptic feedback where maybe the phone vibrates a little bit, but basically calling out that this is a fun, engaging interaction.
Yeah. So it's like, that's cool, like a touch point, like getting this like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's
like
fun.
We're not asking you to do anything except for give a high five, and who doesn't love high fives? I think that's actually in, you know, in one of my talents within work is I'm a high fiver. So I love walking
That's
around
very
the
much
office.
like an American thing, though, I kind of feel. Who likes high fives out there? We can give high fives. I should actually.
But I think it's a symbol that's probably recognized anywhere. I mean, I love being in another country and just, you know, hey, high five.
Yeah,
Boom.
I like it because handshake a little too formal. High five is just fun.
So we're at the welcome screen. We've tapped the hi button. That automatically generates our first chat, and then Laura comes in and greets us. Hi, I'm your personal mindfulness assistant, Laura. What's your name? So this is the first time we're being asked. So,
oh, you know what'd be great here?
What's that?
Is if it saved this in your profile.
Your information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. I think that's what needs to happen.
That's really good.
I think it needs to populate your profile.
What font did you use?
So everything, because we're using iOS, everything that I'm using is native SF Pro.
SF Pro.
And I'm using all the standard iOS sizes. This is 17 point with kind of a semi-bold. And this is a 15 point with a regular type style.
Sweet. Yeah, and did you pull those from the iOS kit?
Yep.
Or I guess you could.
Yeah, fonts. I mean, one of the good things about SF Pro is also Apple made it available and free to everyone via their design resources.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So fist bumps are the best.
They
as
are.
Henry says.
Not as widely understood. Sometimes you get this weird, like, this. Or you can do this one where you say, hey, give me a fist bump. And then you go turkey. Because it looks
jerk.
like a turkey.
You jerk. Don't mess with my head. Adobe Live Team is fist bumper. Does some fist bumps. And that's pretty cool.
I like the boop. You go boop.
Oh, and it comes with some audio. I like it. Again, that's
That's
like,
for free.
what do you call that? Again, just like excitement, the excitement aspect of that.
Yeah.
Just like you click on a button,
Delight.
boom, like delight.
Yeah, sound is definitely plays into delight. So we're bringing it back to Amy. Amy's now in the conversation. So, what's your name? Amy. Here we're showing kind of a little progress where Laura's kind of thinking about the next thing that she's saying. This is really important because it's feedback. It means I've sent something, and now there's something that's working that's gonna. I know now to expect something. So already we've come into the product. I've given a high five. Some bot is greeting me. Laura's our mindfulness assistant, and now I know I'm having this conversation. So it's pretty cool so far, and it's definitely continuous, right? We've come into the experience. We've landed. We're now going through this flow. Add your text here. So hi, Amy. How are you feeling today? So immediately we're starting to tackle the mindfulness aspect, and we're getting into a little bit of kind of describing your emotion. But really, it's about what mindfulness is about, and maybe we can spend some time trying to just pull up a little blurb about it on Google to just actually define it.
Mindfulness.
But we're just addressing, like, just acknowledge how you're feeling today and how powerful that can be. So maybe there's like a quick definition, but I feel like we've glossed over mindfulness, but maybe we could just really spend some time defining it.
Okay, here we go. So just to put it simply, by the way, so this is just, again, straight from the Googler. It's the psychological process of bringing one's attention and experiences occurring in the present moment. So just being present in the moment, which can be developed through the practice of meditation and other training.
Awesome, which is what we're here to do. So bringing it back to present in the moment, asking Amy how she's feeling. She's surprised. She's got this beautifully designed pearlescent button that's just kind of, it almost looks like a Siri here.
Yeah, just begging to be.
So this is where we left off yesterday, but I felt like we needed to show an interaction to introduce this. So this is the only clickable piece. You can tell the add your text here and kind of the input or send is all disabled because everything's gray now. Okay. So this is the only clickable item. We tap it, boom, get this gradient spectrum that we worked on yesterday. And I decided to bring it into happiness in the beginning. So the first thing we're showing is happiness, and then if we move to the left, or in some cases the right, that would go into kind of maybe anger, or kind of into the more less happy scenario. And then the other opposite end of that spectrum would be in some form of sadness, or in some form of like maybe a little bit down.
Oh, okay. So is the center happy?
Yep.
Okay, and then so we might melancholy, kind of like.
Yeah, which is a good word.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. So maybe melancholy is on one side, and then anger is on the other side, and happiness kind of sits in the middle.
How's everybody feeling today? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Or this evening. Where would you put the slider?
Can we get some emojis in here? Do you guys know how to add emojis into the chat feed?
You should be able to, right?
Yeah, I think for those of you using Macs, it's Control Command Spacebar. It should open up the little window, and then we can get some acknowledgement of how you're feeling through emojis. Paul's in there.
I went with a clown because I'm wearing a ridiculous sweater.
Yep. We got some thinkers. Awesome.
Ooh, feeling smart.
Oh, Windows.
Texetas.
Maybe there's actually a website where I think you can copy and paste emojis from somewhere. But we got some.
Hungry to learn more.
Got some fist bumps, some
hey,
power.
Hey, Michael McLean. Hey, didn't you win
some
yesterday?
pandas.
Didn't Michael McLean win something yesterday, or the day before? Maybe, I don't know. But either way, we wanna see you.
Cool.
His eyes are watery.
He's sweating from his tear ducts.
Yeah, it's just really hot where he is on that side of his face.
Don't feel left out if you can't find any emojis. I love the upside down smiley face.
I love it too.
It's one of my favorites. I don't know what it means.
Caitlin Pisha with the little cat.
Unicorn.
How fun.
Cool.
We could just look at these all day, and I like how we decided, I think it was yesterday, that, we didn't need to really type in good, I'm doing okay, blah, blah, blah. This is actually more important information. We can really interpret this, and it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you feeling? I mean, even when you say that, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling blue. Like, you're feeling a color. Like, everybody typically understands that. So
right.
I love how you executed this.
Awesome. Thank you. And I couldn't have done it without you guys and your suggestion.
Oh,
so collaboration. That's where it's at.
Up here, man. It's our last day.
Okay, so we got emoji. In this case, we would probably swipe or kind of drag our thumb on this status bar. So if we tap on it, we go to kind of the meh, which is where we left off yesterday. Amy's feeling a little bit meh, like, hey, I'm downloading this app. I don't know how I feel. I could really use some help with mindfulness.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for me? Taps it. We get a full color fill of that color into the backdrop. We still see the context that we're in, so Amy's message floats up to the top. It says, or Laura's message, hi Amy, how are you feeling today? She says, meh. And so in this case, Laura's going to kind of have a response. So, oh, sometimes I feel meh too. Introduces a funny GIF, which is kind of a good way to just disarm the situation, kind of not necessarily make light of it, but also just say, hey, I'm hearing you, I can sympathize. And this is, I think, where we left off. So
Yes.
We definitely
Yes,
covered some distance yesterday. Got a lot of stuff here. It was really important for me, as I just walked everybody through this UX, was just to...
we could switch to just... I wanted to kind of tie them so they actually saw the cutest thing ever. Because he's kind of meh, and then the bunny falls over. It's so cute. This is already like lifted my mood. I just think it's adorable. And that's what I was thinking. What if our mindfulness assistant Laura just spoke in animated GIFs, and which is cool. A big shout out to Zach. Yesterday, they were working on an app that just dealt with communicating with emojis.
Oh, awesome!
Which is really smart. Like, I mean,
that's great.
Could you pull that off? And it's kind of like, yeah, they were able to kind of pull it off. This whole planning app just using emojis, and could you do that with GIFs? And so it's fun.
Yeah, emojis are a really, really good way to
I have a friend who just uses a lot of animated GIFs, and I love chatting with her.
Yep.
Because, like, I know she's always gonna delight me with, like, a fun GIF, and it's the best.
Yeah, GIFs are awesome. Actually, even in our own company, we use them internally a lot just to chat and kind of describe moments or things that are happening, or in some cases relate to a situation somebody else is describing. So GIFs are loads of fun. So we stretched out this experience. We showed every subsequent interaction to kind of get to where we are. We've now had this conversation with Laura. I think it's important that now we actually start defining what are going to be the primary views or experiences that are going to be in this app. So I think we touched on analytics or metrics kind of being one of those, which I could see being really, really helpful. And then I think we also talked about maybe some sense of discovery, which could mean just how could you kind of discover other types of mindfulness exercises. And then I'm thinking about putting a primary call to action in here, which is just going to be, okay, I'm in the app, I'm having this conversation, but I really just want to get directly into a meditative state. So as quickly as possible, throw something at me.
Yeah, exactly. And there could be more screens here for this whole conversation.
Totally.
We need to kind of cut to the next experience. Yep. Okay, cool.
Cool. So there were a couple other things that I started talking about, in regards to the experience. If we wanted to solicit more information, go ahead.
I already have an idea.
Let's do
for
it.
This. Instead of stars rating your sleep, it should be Z's.
We can do that. That's a great idea. Where am I going to get the emojis from?
I would just do a like Helvetica New extra
Okay.
black, just a big, super bold.
Let's see.
Or I don't know how bold SF Pro gets.
Oh.
Like super, just fat.
All the way to heavy.
Ideally, Fat Frank is a great font because it's kind of rounded on the corners.
Impact's a classic.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can kind of do some trailing Z's maybe over here.
Oh, I like it.
Show a little bit of scale. Whoa. 1,000.
You can grab that little circle at the bottom.
This guy. What do we think?
Oh, yeah. So there we go. Adobe Live Team mentioned it. Texeta. You guys are good. We're all on the same page.
Let's pull one of our colors in here. Get back to the purple. We can throw a repeat grid.
Gabby needs socks.
How I space these initially. So let's take these stars out of here. So we'll do a repeat grid, which is Command R. And then what that's going to allow us to do is basically create a series of evenly spaced Z's. Some Z's. So let's get down to 16. So what are you thinking? How's that feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Again, I probably want the big Z just to be big and chunky, like I can select it, because right now they're...
Well, the good thing about repeat grid,
big and fat.
I believe, is if I go in and tweak this.
Yeah, just like make it big and chunky.
Let's see if I can... Ooh.
Even if you took that and stretched it out or something, I don't know.
Oh, we're getting into crazy font territory there.
Yes.
Tweaking and stretching fonts, Paul.
Did you hear me? Yeah, I did.
Wow.
It's no longer a font. It's like a piece of art that I'm manipulating.
I'm going to contact that font creator.
How to make typographers mad 101.
Totally.
Stretch fonts. But again, I'm turning it. That's actually pretty good. That's good too.
Okay.
Felicia, it's good too. Like a thick to thin. It's good. Good ideas, but yeah. And so you're using repeat grid here, which is nice. You could also use one repeat grid on top of another repeat grid. So you have the hollow one behind, and you selected 4 out of 5 as the one on top.
That sounds like repeat grid inception.
Yeah, but it's how it works.
Let's space these out a little bit more.
I feel like we're just spend a half an hour on this one.
You know what?
It's good though.
What I really wanted to talk about was this copy here.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this one.
How active are you? Would you describe yourself as a potato? And I put antelope, but it's actually a cheetah because there was actually no antelope emoji. Cheetah. So I thought that this could be kind of good because, you know, just getting a sense of how active you are. Maybe that's something that could play into the metrics later. But what I'm showing through all these little widgets is these could be ways that you kind of engage and interact with the customer. So these were some things that we explored.
I love it. I love it. So again, a mindfulness app, just to kind of recap, we're kind of getting into the next phase, which is sort of maybe your meditation, but just still kind of gauging where you at, how active you are, how much sleep you get, which is perfect. Again, this is a little segue to talk about the contest, which is basically a smartwatch. So if there was a mindfulness app on the smartwatch, could we detect how much sleep they got and how active they are, and like plug it right in?
Absolutely. And it's a good way to kind of not ask the customer to pull their phone out, but maybe to also just tap them through the watch and just say, hey, friendly little touch. This is how your sleep schedule's looking.
Yes, I would love that.
So let's put a...
Sam Cook likes it. He likes the emojis over text. I agree. I agree, my friend.
So I think we have some icons that you found. Right. Anybody have any ideas on which one of these would be good for the meditation call to action? So this is going to be our primary piece. I realize we're having a conversation with Laura, and that's something that's going to persist throughout the experience. I actually found a home for her in the UI and where she'll live to where we can call her up later on within the product experience. But in order to show that, we have to kind of move on to other screens. So I'm thinking the Lotus is a good idea.
Lotus would be good.
I think we had like a...
So far, I like the Lotus.
That we have this character, which kind of definitely implies the posture and kind of the sitting upright.
What about
the meditation?
I think this is called the Om.
Om.
The Om. Which is not there, but I can, just another.
Yeah, these
thought.
these are the Karn. I think this is like stone stacking, but then it's also Zen garden.
Oh, I like it.
Stone stacking.
What about the broccoli in the center?
Yeah, what are you thinking for the...
Yeah, what are you guys thinking?
For the broccoli
what are you thinking for meditation? What icon says meditation? And maybe you already named some, so can you pull those out, like your top three?
Let's do that. We've got...
Or highlight them or something.
The overly zealous zooming by Marc. I do that a lot. We got the Lotus.
And then the
Ooh, we got the ripple. Oh, we got the stones here.
Yeah, the stones.
Yeah. Cool.
Meditation.
Maybe put a poll. No?
Brooke doesn't like the stones. I like the stones.
I'm seeing a lot of Lotus.
Michelle.
Stones equal poo. Okay. Failing you on that one.
People are kind of going for the Lotus. Interesting. All right.
Let's do it. That's going to be...
Sweet.
It's going to be great.
I like it as a design,
It's very simple.
Julia, welcome. Welcome, everyone. This is day 3 and our final day, at least for this week. Next week is editorial design, just so you know. It's going to be super fun. And, yeah, so hang out with us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great. It's going to be perfect.
Madhu, hello from New York. Good to have you here.
Just do a nice...
Joining us on your lunch break, I assume. And all day long, hopefully.
So I'll actually going to group this, and I'm going to use this just to quickly...
You're such a good designer, man. Seriously.
Thank you.
I mean, just putting it in a color... not only that, but the color blue is also very like Zen, and I know you just kind of started, but what you have here is just awesome. Because I think a less talented designer could just slap it in there as black and make it really large, and it would look ugly, don't you think? Or not?
I mean, I think no, but absolutely. Like in regards to design, we've chosen our color palette, and this is something we talked about in regards to principles and rationale, but keeping it consistent and keeping the same UI colors and placing all these things. I mean, maybe I can talk more about this as I'm doing it. Maybe there are quick decisions that are happening for me, but definitely setting the expectation that, keeping color consistency and establishing the colors that you're going to use in the product, and being consistent with those expectations is super important. But I'm really happy with this purple. I think it's great.
Yeah, and just, I mean, the way you made it smaller and white, and it just like looks so elegant, you know.
So we need two more icons. We need one for discovery.
Discovery.
And we need ooh, I'm seeing this as discovery.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's pretty good.
And then we need one for some type of metrics, which I'm happy to make one if we need something for analytics. Any ideas for discovery?
I do like this one.
Mountains, we've got the ripple. Got some apples in here. Okay, let's just...
Yeah, I'd go with the mountains. I think that's the easy one. Discovery. The hard one is going to be like analytics, you said?
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking for that, I'll probably just use a repeat grid, kind of similar. What I'm imagining in my mind's eye is something a little bit similar to kind of a network connectivity bar, if that makes sense. Cool. So let's get rid of that. Oh, let's do this. Ungroup the grid. So I used a repeat grid to place these evenly. And then the center call to action, which is where it's going to be because it's a primary touch use case. And then I used the other placements to help me ballpark where I'd like our other icons to land. That way we're getting evenly spaced grid, and everything is kind of has its own placement. So take that out, put that in there. That's discovery.
I like this discovery icon. It almost looks like a person with their head and shoulders.
Oh, kind of laying down.
Yeah, exactly, something like that.
So we're going to go with gray as an inactive color. Let's see if we can make a quick...
What is the shortcut for the icon spacing you just did?
For the repeat grid?
I don't know if you did any.
Repeat grid? Command R?
No, just shortcut for the icon spacing. I mean, did you do any you're not really doing any shortcut trickiness, are you? Okay.
No, just...
Sometimes you will cut, you'll take something, you'll position it, you'll cut it, move some other stuff, paste, and it'll paste back into position.
Yeah, so I definitely do... I'll definitely place an icon on top of another subject, and that's a way to help me replace the content that I'm about to delete. And that's just a normal... Sometimes in Illustrator, it's kind of Command F, which means you're going to paste it to the front and push something to the foreground. But it's just a way for me... I'll actually do it again here. So generally a good benchmark for icons is about 24 by 24 pixels. And I'm just going to use this as a way for me to just make sure I'm keeping the icon square. So, oop. Where is the
repeat grid? It's probably just further out, yeah.
So let's do maybe 2 pixels.
How long have you been using XD? For about 43 minutes. In general? Like, definitely today.
Yeah, I've been using XD for about 1.5 years. I think like I was on some of the early beta stuff, got to see a lot of the changes happen.
Okay. And we have new features, by the way, so as you select any one of those squares, by the way, because I know the border might get in the way, just select one of the so we can access the stroke. You can double click on any one of those.
Yeah, let me ungroup this. So we've evenly spaced these. This is definitely the distance that we want because it's within the grid that we've established, which is great. Maybe we can move it. Let's see if that centers it. Nope, see, hangs over. So what we're going to do is we're going to ungroup that. We'll go to these borders. I'm probably not going to use the border, so I'll turn those off. We'll pick our inactive gray color, which is here. A happy little, I'm going to play into Sean's comment of the Bob Ross. So we're just going to do a happy little gray.
You do have a very soothing voice. You're like perfect person for developing this app.
Hopefully it's helpful in the morning.
Yeah, you're easing us into it.
So let's just kind of scale these. I'm just winging it. I don't know what's going to happen. Just happy little mistakes. And just to kind of adhere to kind of the roundness that we've been going throughout the whole experience.
Boom.
I'm just going to... So I didn't pick 8. other than the fact that I knew that each of these was only a couple pixels wide. So if I knew 8, I just knew it would create a cap or like a circle at the end. So definitely not exact. The expectation was I wanted it to be rounded. So we got a little metrics icon there.
I like it.
We'll group it. One of the things I like to do is I'll just come over and compare. When you're adding assets and working with developers, you definitely want to make sure that as you're exporting all these assets, they're the same dimension. Doing that in vector is super helpful because then they can scale it to whatever dimension that they need. But it looks like we're definitely within range. Maybe we can scale it out just to the edge so that it is proportional to the mountains. So we made a little update there. Put this guy in here. And I'm going to place it to center of the ellipse. Get rid of that guy. Okay. So we've got a discovery icon. Looks like we can overzealously zoom again. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's see if we can scale this up. Maybe. That looks... So I think I talked about this yesterday, but acceptable dimensions for most icons in mobile start at about 40 pixels. And with that, and phones getting larger, it's important to probably increase that tappable radius. So I'm realizing I probably lost some of my space.
You know what I
here.
think would look also potentially might look pretty good is like, what if they were in around? It could be whatever you want. I mean, are they in gray circles?
They're not in gray circles. What's going to happen, at least for me thinking about this, is the active state for this icon is going to be the same purple. So to the user, if they tap it and they're into that experience, they'll know that they're in this view, and in that case, we can de-emphasize the lotus. But it's a good way of calling out, again, bringing it back to the value of the app. We're focusing on that this lotus is going to take you into the meditation experience. And so we want to highlight that by doing a color block or putting high contrast color behind it to definitely pull the eye in.
Sweet.
These other experiences I would classify as secondary or tertiary, which means they're supplemental to the experience, but they're not the core.
Yeah. So what if you don't, Kevin asks, what if you don't know what these icons mean? And is that okay?
It's a great question.
I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of discovery with any app.
Absolutely.
You know?
And one of the things, at least that I'll share, so the size for that is actually I think it's 11 points, but we'll see how it goes. But really good question. In regards to user experience, it's always best to describe with text. I know some of you are probably familiar with like hamburger icons. Hamburger icons was kind of a controversial topic of, it just became this area where you threw things into a product. Whereas some people would argue that putting the word actually menu is much clearer to someone versus putting the hamburger icon. So let's just put some labels here. We definitely have the space for it.
And this is a good call because we're really dealing with pretty unique, subject matter. It's not like we could go, if it was a camera icon, then I know, okay, or a photo icon, you know what I'm saying? These are kind of non-standard, so this is helpful.
Absolutely.
Ronnie agrees, tech support, sounds good. Yeah, so Brooke, I don't know if there would be really a mouse over since this is a mobile app. But we like where your head's at.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like that Android does is when you tap on the icons in the tab bar, they actually have no labels to a certain number of icons. And then once you tap on it, the icon jumps up a little bit, and then the label appears at the bottom.
Oh.
And as you so each of the icons will kind of fall into a hierarchy, but it's a really great interaction and way of showing, this is the content that you're in. and it's exposed via engagement, right?
Mhm.
It's not there until I tap into it, and then I see the name showing
I
up.
like that. And I love that font. I like the gray. I think it looks very elegant, very nice. Yeah, Jasper, we welcome all your questions. I saw some questions about, people are asking about Sketch versus XD. Yeah, you just like dive in, compare both of them. Obviously, we are Adobe, and so we'd recommend Adobe XD. But yeah, see what works for you.
So what do we think the action should be here?
Speaking of which, by the way, I wanted to tell you, we have Tom Kircha. He actually works on Adobe XD, so he's actually part of that team, and he knows all the inside intel. So if anybody out there has very specific questions on, like, you know, you want this, that, or the other, like, I think we could pry some information out of him is my goal.
Awesome.
And so Tom Kircha is going to be up next with Zach London, so that's cool.
That's great. Look forward to meeting him.
Yeah, he's so smart. He's like such a good guy. Such a good guy.
Everybody at Adobe has been absolutely fantastic, especially our behind the scenes guy, Gus.
Yeah, I know. Fist bump Gus.
So I've increased.
And Chris as part of the Adobe Live team.
Also, Michael.
Quietly working behind the scenes, making us look good.
Chris is the man. Okay, now, so I've created this tab bar. Now, this is something that's going to live across all the screens. Do you have any ideas about how we could place this across all the screens? Maybe using the asset panel?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
use that asset panel.
And then I can add it into the asset panel?
Yes. Right? Yeah. So, like, right above Mark's head, this is the asset panel. Symbols, he just clicked this button, the little plus button, and now it's basically a symbol. And it should turn it green. Actually, select it, see if it's see how it has a green border? So now we can tell symbols from just independent elements.
So if I wanted to place this in some of these placeholders, would I just drag it into there, or would I have to copy and paste it to each of the screens?
You'd have to just copy in, like, that's just a box, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just replace that box with that.
It's a good thing they're the same dimension.
And what's nice is, so this is what I do, is drag it in there. Now it's there perfectly squared away. You could just do a select, copy, and paste. Just that, yeah. All right. Yeah, Texeta, thank you for that suggestion. You can mobile OSs have a context menu. You can bury tooltips there. Brooke has and by the way, in about 8 minutes, we're gonna give away some socks. Just so you know, here's some socks. These are our Adobe PX socks, depending on where you have your feet, or they could be XD. But we'll give those away in about 8 minutes. So your feet are warm this winter or summer, depending on what hemisphere you're in.
All right, so let's just look at this from a prototype perspective real quick. And we actually have it on the phone as well.
Are you going to click through it at all? Because I can, whenever you're at that point. But that looks pretty good.
Yeah, what are we thinking here?
I kind of want, like, I mean, so this is the thing. Yeah, what is everybody thinking? How do you guys like this? Because my thought is to just like this particular screen is so white. I want to put that in. I want that bar to be a color, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You know, which means kind of switching things up. But that's my 2 cents. Or even if it's
that's great.
A gray, or is there a gradient from a slightly darker gray to a slightly lighter gray or something, so that like has depth like that.
Yeah, I mean, we could make it a color, and we could turn all these to white. I think if we just double click into this and edit, it's going to change across all of them. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Let's see, what's a good value? Try AOAO.
Yeah, Michael McLean, that's good. You know, it's, for activity, it's kind of more the your statistics, which is why we ended up with that icon. But a person running would be good for activity. Good call.
Let's see, we can try out a couple colors here. We got 09142.
I can't. Yeah. I mean, that's. Oh, that looks pretty nice.
Yeah, that's kind of working. Can just tweak some of these colors a little bit. Let's see, maybe lighter.
Pankaj, how late are you? You are not late at all, my friend. We'll be recapping, just so you know, you can always kind of scrub back in the player and kind of scrub through this and kind of see the development. But essentially, this is our third day working on this mindfulness app. And that is even dope, by the way. Oh,
what's that?
I mean, just the fact that you just created depth there with varying grace.
What are you thinking?
I just like how you did that. Like, what if these bars had varying levels of gray, just to make things more complex?
Let's do it.
Because I'm a jerk.
Oh, you know what? That's an awesome idea.
And one thing you didn't actually, Pankaj, you did not miss anything. We're gonna give away socks here in about 5 minutes. There's a contest going on. Click on the contest tab. You're in it to win it.
So let's do a quick recap. So we're working on our mindfulness app.
That looks good.
We started going into kind of the splash screen. We've got the landing value proposition screens here, going into login and sign up. And then we're getting into the onboarding experience here, which is basically how you engage with the app. So in this case, let's see if we can let's give Laura a break. Laura's really been working hard.
Who wants to be part of the app? I might have put some people in the Mark and Paul folder. So
let's see. Double click into there. We've got some profiles. Let's see.
Okay, so right, Matthias was here. Munir, I haven't seen his name yet. Yeah. So who wants to be part of the app? Diego? Diego wants to be part?
Yeah, I'll let you...
I'm going to pull...
All right, so we got some dark UI. I'm going to take your suggestion because I love it. So artistically, whenever you see objects in space stack up in perspective, it's referred to a painting technique, which is called atmospheric perspective. And what it is it's actually how the layers of air build up as distance increases. And so that's why when you look at mountains, they look like these beautiful watercolors where you're kind of seeing a dark mountain in the foreground, then it's a shade lighter, then it's a shade lighter, and then it's a shade lighter, and you get these beautiful scenic landscapes. So let's just knock this mountain back a little bit more. We'll do 50%. And we'll keep the sun shining bright. And then through each of these, we'll knock each of these down. Let's do it in descending. So this will be 80. This will be 60. And this will be 40. We got some nice gradients. Do you want to take a look at that?
What's that?
Got some gradients going on.
Oh, killing it. You're killing it, man. I love it. Man, you are freaking, you like kind of know what you're doing just a little bit. I'm sensing you know a little bit about what you're doing.
Just winging it. Okay, so we got some screens. Let's, do we want to jump into sketching? I mean, we could sketch really quick just because it's going to help me to make some decisions on what we want to do. So I'm going to jump over to the iPad. I want to sketch out basically, I think 3 screens. Go ahead.
Yeah. And sorry to cut you off, but basically it looks like you have a bunch of symbols. So is Laura a symbol?
Laura is a symbol.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just grab a different profile since we'll just kind of like close that loop.
Let's do it.
Jump out to the folder. You can pick whoever you want. I'm thinking, I mean, again, you don't want to have to change the name Laura everywhere. So, or is her name everywhere?
It's only 2 places, so we can go through those changes. So did we find a new mindfulness assistant?
We have. And
Diego?
Here we are. Yeah, go with Diego. Diego was the first to say me.
Boom.
And we like that name, Diego. Diego, you are in, my friend. Diego Ibanez, visual designer in
Laura,
LA.
Thank you so much for all of your hard work and helping Amy become more mindful.
You've just moved up. You are now the mindfulness manager.
I think it's time. Yeah, I mean,
So
it's, just be young and retired. Just enjoy life.
Laura has officially, she's retired. She's made hers. The app's a huge hit. She's moved on to other things. We appreciate you. Diego's in.
So we got a couple places where names are gonna.
Sorry, probably a little bit more than.
Well, you know what? If I would have made it a symbol, which sometimes when you're just working fast,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
You forget.
It's like naming layers.
it
You
totally
know, you're
is.
not until you have to go back and clean it up.
Which is like the last thing you want to do once you're done. Once you put that final underscore, absolutely done underscore version 3.
I promise this time. Yeah.
Like, you just want to be done with it.
Ooh, boom.
Should we do?
Look, we did a giveaway for the socks.
But it didn't update.
That's right. Yeah. See, you never know when that's going to happen. Of course, I did tell you, but still. The Adobe Live team, all the GusBot 2000 has picked Rodney Halquist. Congratulations, Rodney Halquist. You've won these fancy socks. Not only left one, but also the right one as well. I don't know which is which, but that you have to put them on the right. I don't like how socks started doing that.
What's that?
There's a left one, like Nike socks have an L and an R.
Yeah.
But,
Does it really matter?
No, it doesn't really matter, but I always make sure it's correct, but it's does it really matter? Congratulations, Rodney Halquist.
So I'm realizing my...
The GusBot 20,000 will zoom by your house and drop them off, personally hand them, and maybe put them on your feet, depending on, who knows. It might get a little weird at that point, but hey.
So I realized my symbol didn't work.
Oh, we didn't notice.
So I'm having to...
We didn't, you're good.
It's totally my user error, by the way.
Oh, did you
It's because I grouped them,
Okay, gotcha.
I think. But they're all symbols.
Yeah, it's all good. The Gustrone 20,000. Halquist, sorry. Halquist, Rodney Halquist. Congratulations, buddy. Don't worry if you didn't win. We do have the contest. You can click on the contest tab and make a smartwatch app. Just mocks up 3 screens that mimic a smartwatch of your own design. You don't have to use the circles, but please submit something. In fact, let's check. I'm just going to look in the spreadsheet and see. It looks like we currently have 1 entry, so their chance of winning is 100% right now. Let's just do a refresh and check. Yep. We have 1 entry. They have a 100% chance of winning, provided they meet the minimum requirements of just, publishing out 3 screens.
Alrighty.
Look at this, dude. You're freaking killing it.
You guys want to click through it real quick?
I
and then
do.
we'll
Can you share it
do
too?
some sketching?
You need to publish the link too. We need to send it to everybody. Yeah, update link. You have the same
Update link.
Yeah, just again. So yeah.
All those changes.
And just to give you a break from your screen, take that link and post it to behance.net/live. And while you do that, let's check out Farouk's Day 3 smartwatch experience right in here. Vox. We can voice over assistant maybe. Listen, record. So again, we can record something. Hey, this app is really cool. Recording. Scroll down, 5 of 5 screens. So it can be this simple. Notice how he went with a round watch, which I really like. But ooh, here we go. Ooh, mindfulness. What is this? Is that what's going on here? Sheeps, clouds, kitty. you're listening to those different, or you're recording those different experiences. But I like the whole thought of this. Like, this would be very peaceful to listen to.
Kitty.
So we'll just plug this into the mindfulness app, Zen. Thank you so much, Farouk. And the link is in the chat now as well.
Awesome. So I'm going to switch over to the iPad. I was reminded. So for those of you that are in different countries and different time zones, I just wanted to share, this was like something fun that my roommate and I did a few years ago. The product's called Fio, and it's basically a time zone app. So for me as a team lead and contributor in Atlassian and working across different time zones, I have people that I work with in Sydney. I have people that I work with in Austin, and it's really hard to kind of organize time of day and what time to meet up. So
it's called Fio, F-I-O.
Yep. So let's get a location. Somebody just tell me where you're from in here.
Brunei, B-R-U-N-E-I.
So we got Brunei, and is that we've got several.
Like
we could do that. So Brunei, it looks like it's 2 a.m. over there. Thank you so much for staying awake with us. We got, I think I saw another one. We got Portugal. Let's add Portugal in here. Let's do Lisbon. Lisbon, 2:30 p.m. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Let's see, in Zimbabwe, last one. So let's do 8 p.m. Awesome. So as you can see, like, as much as we're organizing the time zones, and here we have San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles, which is where I have friends and family members that live. We're also illustrating by color kind of what the time of day is. So anytime you come in, this happens through your browser. It's through an extension. So anytime you hit a new window, this is what comes up. You can reach out and give us feedback here. We'd love to hear from you. There's the history on the release notes and how Fritz, my roommate, did all this great work. So yeah, check it out, guys, if it helps. It's free. So it's just something that we did as a passion project, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. One cool thing is that if we wanted to be in the future and scroll, so as I start advancing into kind of 11...
How are you advancing? Just scrolling?
Just by scrolling up
on the
scroll wheel. But what you can see is how all the colors start changing and the time of day shifts. So I know at 10 p.m. my time what that looks like in Zimbabwe as 8 a.m. So,
looks like
anywho, just
good job.
Just a little shout out to Theo.
Dude,
it was a fun project.
You are the man. I'll just post that link because that is awesome.
All right, so I'm going to sketch some stuff so I can get these 3 screens because Martin challenged me to get the next 2 screens done.
We got a job to do.
We do.
By the way, that's pretty sweet. Written up in TechCrunch, and yeah, it's super. I mean, I deal with a lot of people from other time zones, so.
Yeah, I think one of the fun things is just, walking around in the office and seeing other people that discover it just kind of naturally. And so it's kind of fun just to see that other people are using it.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks, Gabby. All right, so we're on the iPad. I just want to do some really, really quick sketches and roughs of some analytics, maybe.
Using, Photoshop Sketch.
So we're on Photoshop Sketch. Oh, man. So we're going to have our key UI components. I'm thinking, in this case, maybe a segmented UI could be helpful. Maybe we want to switch between kind of like the metrics and the tracking, and then also go to maybe an activity where it's kind of like, hey, throughout the last week, these are all the mindfulness meditations that you participated in. So I think overall activity, I'm going to stick with kind of the circle theme. Maybe we can just track overall progress to mindfulness. We can put in some secondary and tertiary information down below that. And then we'll probably do a chart that just kind of maps out the Monday through Sunday. So that's a little bit of what I'm thinking for that. Activity will probably just be, what I'm thinking is it'll be a series of emotions that you've entered in each time. And it'll have the time of date, and it'll just say, hey, on this day you felt this
is
way.
what I like. This is my thought on that. I mean, I like that. But, is it a calendar view?
Yeah, so I think...
Or no?
The only reason I'm focusing on this kind of view is I want to put timestamps, and I want to put the time of day in there. But doing a calendar, I want to make sure I don't get too granular into like a box and like thinking of it as a calendar.
Okay.
It's more tracking, so it's on the metric side.
Okay.
But
and you could jump in there multiple times a day potentially and have different feelings throughout the day. And then how's it going to work on a monthly calendar, for instance?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But good pushback, good suggestion.
Hey, I don't want any trouble.
Hey. I'm just
all
here
about
to
mindfulness
I'm just
here.
here to build beautiful things.
That's right. We're here.
And I'm trying.
You are.
And then the last screen, I think, is discovery, and I drew all these in the exact opposite order. But we'll just do kind of a thumbnail swatch. Maybe we can do a featured meditation exercise, and then I still feel like we need to do what is going to be the mindfulness screen, and my hope is that's going to be some kind of player with a big image behind it. All right, I need everybody's energy to get through these. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, so the first one's the activity screen.
Yeah, so we have the activity. Also, we have the metrics or the tracking. So this is actually giving you data on how you're tracking on mindfulness. And then the other screen, which will be a toggle within the metric screen, is the activity feed. And then we have the discovery, which will be kind of a series of thumbnails and images, different themes that you can choose. And then below that, I just did a really, really quick gesture of a full bleed image, very clean, very simple, with just a player that's going to be in there that's going to go through the sounds and the meditation exercises that are going to be provided through audio.
Cool.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good to me. Sounds like you got some work to do. And just time check, you have about
plenty of time.
45 minutes.
All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to start building that metric screen. So let's take this screen down here.
Oh yeah, we got some more entries as well. Yeah, so Sam, by the way, you can use whatever. Why use Photoshop Draw over using Procreate? Sure, use Procreate. Use whatever you want, honestly. Obviously, this is Adobe, so we're probably going to use Photoshop Sketch. And then there's Illustrator Draw, which is vector-based. And by the way, you can send these directly to Illustrator and to Photoshop. So the integration is what we like. And again, there's capture, stuff like that. Photoshop Sketch isn't available for touchscreen computers, but there are tools, even if you have Photoshop on that, Microsoft Surface Pro, then you can use Photoshop, and you're going to have, you don't really need to build a second app. Just use Photoshop because everything's going to work in it. Oh, thank you, Adobe Live team. You're on top of it. I could have just read your message.
142. I don't have every hexadecimal code memorized.
Unacceptable.
But there are a few.
Thank you. Michael J. McLean has entered his in, and we're up to 3. Then we also have Jairus King. So yeah, a couple more experiences to check out. Let's put that there. Edit, paste, done. While you're doing that, just to give you a second, we can review these other designs. So this is Michael J. McLean's. Thank you so much for titling your app, your name. Shout out to you, appreciate you. So right here we have, looks like the ability to, I don't know, maybe track your sleep. I like it. I like the gradients in the first one here. Click in. Press start to track your sleep tonight. And then we can stop sleep, and then we start to see our sleep pattern. Deep sleep, and then awake. All right. This is good. And 4 screens. So good stuff. Good stuff. Sleep tracker. And then we also have Jairus. Jairus King Bation. Let's take a look. Looks like we have notifications with an inbox. I like that. It's a pretty unique gradient. Don't see that gradient very much, but I like it. Hey, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking, Jasmine. And by the way, it looks like Jairus did this full screen. So when he published his app, by the way, he checked open in full screen. So that's how his appears on black, which is pretty cool. And that's a brand new feature. So again, that gives you this dark mode, which is awfully nice. Just hit escape to get out of it. And yes, good stuff. Jairus, Michael, and Farouk. You still have 15 more minutes to get in your submission contest tab to get the template right behind chat. And you can win Creative Cloud for a year. Even if you have Creative Cloud, it'll be added to your membership. Ooh, Kevin, you like the smartwatch that you can scan barcodes with? That would be really cool. Like, what if you scanned in barcodes, you got the nutrition information, you feed that into like a health app, and realize how many, how many calories you eat through chips. Yeah, you can try to submit late. We'll try to keep tabs on it, everyone. We just have to. We usually get all the submissions in at the very last minute, and sometimes we don't get to them. Okay. Ooh, Michael, look at you. He's saying on his last screen. Okay, so this is cool. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for pointing that out, by the way. So this is what Michael did. On his last screen, he said, hey, you can scroll down through it. But right in here, shoop, time in bed, 6 hours, 30 minutes, time of sleep, 5 hours, 50 minutes. Very common to have like 30 minutes of time where you're just like not sleeping and kind of in between. And send to iPhone. And how he did this, by the way, let me just show this real fast. Right over here, he took that screen. We'll just take, this screen 2, for instance. Zoom out. He just grabbed this bottom part right here and extended it down. And once you extend it down, you can start to see this fold line. And that's where he added the additional information. So again, scaling that up and down, that changes the height technically, and the scrolling is set to vertical with the initial height. So that's cool. Oh, and by the way, you can actually, once you hit publish, you can actually also hit update. So maybe you do submit something now or something and you can like notice a misspelling, you can just hit update to that link and it will update that link. So yes. Oh, and by the way, I do want to point out that we do have Zach London up next with Tom Kircha. Tom works actually on the XD team. He has all the secrets. So as you mentioned, scrolling pages and movement and pinning things, like ask him about that stuff. We're going to try to get info out of him. And again, I think this is cool because we spent a lot of time making the Windows version. So now we have both the Windows and Apple's, the Mac version. And so we're basically dealing with 2 platforms. We spent all last year making the Windows version, I feel like. So there wasn't like a lot of new features, but now we're going to start seeing them come sort of rapid fire. Just like what happened 3 days ago, the ability to have a stroke. And I'll just show you this real fast. Let me just change the color of this to white and crank up this stroke to about 10, sure. And move this over. Notice how the border or the stroke is on the inside. We can put it on the outside. Notice how it's on the outside, and then middle. So something that you'd expect if you have an app that has a stroke. And again, that's just like one example. One of my favorite things is also background blur. Click. What that does is like, let's bring this to front. But that will like make anything behind it blurry. So this is good for, you know, any sort of text that you want to put in the foreground. Yeah, so Jonathan Walgren would like dashed strokes. So that brings up a good point, whether I can use, and I'll launch, it might take me a second to launch Illustrator, but, you know, sort of doing some things in Illustrator, because our goal in XD is not to rebuild Illustrator. That would be silly. But to be able to make sure you can bring in that content. So that's the big thing.
So I'm kind of interchangeably working in between.
Yeah, see, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, you're working in Illustrator. Exactly.
Illustrator just to bring, kind of trying to save a little, or create a little bookmark icon.
I like how you've been rounding these corners, and it just, it's so nice. Concerning mindfulness, there are no sharp corners. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of a good design aesthetic.
Yeah, I think, again, it kind of comes back to those principles and kind of the don't fight the fun. I obviously feel like, you know, in this case, adding rounded corners and, you know, making objects, as you mentioned, not very sharp.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to poke me. Some people think that a box, you know, just a regular box or square is really just like 4 arrows pointing outward. Some people say that's potentially what it is. That's kind of a stretch, but the fact that it kind of, you know, keeps your eye contained is nice.
So I think I showed this yesterday, but I just want to, like, one of the little quick things that I do is, again, when you're trying to create consistent padding or consistent spacing, and now that we can both do strokes on the interior and exterior of objects, I want to, you know, I try to use this consistent 8-pixel padding, and so I can see that I'm actually running a little bit over the edge, and instead of me having to kind of drop measurement points or things like that, adding a stroke is just a quick way to turn off and on, kind of what I'm looking for, just to snap it to those corners.
And you can control the individual points, so like the bottom corners of the photo can be sharp.
Right. Yeah, we could individually go in here and adjust. Yeah, so we can do that.
And yeah, you could always, like, I think you hold on the Alt key or Option key. I'll just do that one. Can you grab it though? It's kind of hard to grab, huh?
Yeah. So, boom.
That should have done it. Oh, hopefully it didn't do it. It did it for all of them.
Yeah, let's do this.
So yeah,
I think it's 0.
What's up, the good drama D? Huh, interesting name.
0. Nope. 0.
Thank you, Laura, for submitting your entry for the smartwatch app contest. And welcome everyone. Always curious if it is your first time here. Just would love to get a hello from you. And wondering how your day is, everyone. Or evening, because again, if you're in Brunei, it's almost like 3 a.m. there. So.
That's true. So I'm just going to finish out this discovery. I kind of envision this having a lot of different options. We're showing a featured image here up at the top with kind of a large kind of floating shape or modal, and then we've got a nice full screen image that's sitting up there. I'm going to do another category which is below, which will be nature sounds. I also would imagine, I grabbed some photos here from the creative stock, but some as I'm looking through imagery, I start getting inspired. I said, oh, maybe we could do like relaxation or sleeping, and so I could just imagine several different categories. So maybe let's do that. Let's change nature sounds to kind of relaxation. and I don't know, are they sounds? Are they meditation stories? Relaxation stories, maybe. Sounds good.
Yeah. And it would be audio related, right?
Yep. Yeah, again, stemming from, you know, we were kind of inspired by Apple's 2017 like App of the Year, and so, which was Calm, and that's an audio implementation.
Yes.
So I think that audio is a good method to communicate mindfulness and to kind of talk. Still plenty of time left here. Let's just grab.
Wouldn't it be better to have the bookmark icon more to the left so the finger has a big hit area? But I see why you put it there, because you want to. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Perfect. Done. Love the feedback. Let's grab some of these. See what happens. We've got some relaxation stories in there for Discover. Discover screen. I think the only thing that's missing is if I could find a search icon, just in case somebody wanted to.
Search icon. Search icon should be pretty easy to.
Let's see.
Make.
Boom. I'm already beating you to it. Boom.
Boom. Boom. And that's another thing, honestly, that I want is I would love just even on a stroke or a line to have a rounded caps.
I agree. That's one of the things I probably could have done it in Illustrator, because I do miss the little caps that you can kind of add as you do stroke, but it's okay.
And that's something I would ask Tom about. It's like, hey man, I'm gonna have rounded caps and other things. And he's the type of guy that he was like, okay, sure, like he's amazing. We have this Adobe Max conference, and for years, year after year, it was always on the big stage was something he made, or he worked with a team that made it. And anyways, just a guy that's always impressed me.
You know, I feel like I met him.
You might have. He's.
I was there. All right, so we got some search, we got some Discover.
From the Czech Republic.
We got some relaxation stories. Let's go into the meditation experience real quick. So we're going to get rid of this stuff, which was my active state. We'll go into launching meditation. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple.
Okay, so people who are maybe joining us today, we've been doing this for 3 days, so essentially all of those sessions have been recorded, so you can watch them on demand later on. They're actually going to be available on YouTube. Don't go there now. Go there this weekend.
Add a little background blur just to kind of, oh no. So what are we thinking? I'm thinking we'll probably need, I might go over and grab this asset I had over here. Thinking we'll need a little bit of context on kind of what you're listening to.
Yeah. Oh, Gabby, you're very sweet. She says that you're fast and you take a lot of care with the details. So you're like one of the best on streaming. No, she said, yeah, one of the best on the streaming. No mumbo jumbo, direct to the point, just make cool stuff. Like, and you do, man. It's like you put care into this. We're gonna round corners, and really, you're on a deadline, man.
All right, listen, Martin threw down the glove, and you know, I'm here for Martin. So I just want to make sure that we built something awesome.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's looking good. And again, your color choices, just this semi-transparency here, is totally working. Lucas, by the way, stick around when Tom's in the room. Be like, hey, man, need a color picker shortcut, because they moved the color picker inside of the color panel. So,
also, if I do get a little bit heads down, like, please interrupt me. If there's any questions, if you want to know
cool
how and why.
I will.
I'm doing something.
Your head down. He's cranking on things, so keep the questions coming. Awesome. Right. Looks like we're coming upon our deadline for the contest. So, Jeremy, hey, welcome, man. It's your first time here, first time ever opening XD. This is very exciting. And what does he do? He submits a design. Jeremy, you're awesome. Jeremy Brown, that's awesome. Like, seriously, it's like he shows up. It's like, hey, man, I want to do some stuff. Just the confidence. I can tell already. He's confident. So it's kind of winding down. And hello, we have so many entries. I said 10:30. We're probably going to have to cut you guys off. We went from 3 to probably 15. So if we don't show yours this session, we'll show it in about an hour and a half.
All right, I'm going to create some shapes that I'm going to envision that I will need. So let's just do this. This is what's going on here? Nope. Let's see.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Anas. Thank you, Varun, for entering your prototypes. Martine. So many entries. Dalmantas. This probably brings us to about like 150 prototypes that have been submitted this week. Joris. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, because you put your name in for the title of the app, which is really helpful. Matthias.
Let's just do this. So what I'm trying to do is just really quickly imply what's going to be both a player, and we'll probably use the same asset into our metrics as well, just to kind of speed up some time. So let's see, take it this.
Yeah, so if you need a second, I can kind of click through these designs.
Let's
basically
do it.
Closing the contest right now for Creative Cloud. We'll start with this first one. This happens to be Daniel's Restaurant Guides, full screen mode, map with chat. Would you like to leave a review? Hey, you can go ahead and record. Is there handicap parking? Ooh, bacon cheeseburger was amazing. Thank you for your review. Awesome. Easy to use. Again, this is sort of voice activated. So, Daniel, you did a great job. Next up is Francesca's Green Timer Smartwatch. Work smarter for less time. Take 25 minutes and give it a try. Stay focused. Restart now. All right, cool. I like it.
Everybody's a fun graphic.
Yeah. Everybody's taking advantage of the transitions. This is from, is this Matthias's? Let me just kind of exit out of this. Yeah, Matthias's Scannero. Scan an item to put it in your cart. Let's scan it now. Fantastic. Boom. Crackers, Adobe Crackers are $9.99, which is how much Photoshop CC is per month. Actually, that's the photography plan, I think. Photography plan is just as much as a box of crackers. All right. Next up, we have, let me exit out of this. Joris's experience. Check your heart rate, 82 beats per minute. Wow, you need to just kind of ease up. Ease up. We're a little hot. We're a little hot. Arterial press. Got these little. Maybe you can swipe through these. Your activity, and then your sleep. I like this one. Well designed. Ooh, meditation. Check this out just real fast. It's kind of nice, huh?
Yeah.
Heart rate.
Those colors are great.
Activity, sleep, meditation. Good job, Joris. Next up, Dalmentas has, looks like it's a credit card app. Watch Pay, a new way to pay without having an actual credit card with you. How does it work? You add a credit card. You go shopping. Oh, I love this glow. Just point that out. I love that little.
I like the yellow and the orange is a really hot color.
Oh, so good on that sort of steel blue or bluish gray. There's your dashboard, and basically you can. Ooh, look at this. Use the background blur on these. Wow, you're so
that kind
fancy.
of inspires me. Maybe we can do something similar for our metric screen.
Yeah, so nice. All right, we're gonna move. Dalmentas is right here. We're gonna make sure this one is moved in too. Let's dive into. This is Jairus's. Hold on. Let's double check this.
Zach's here.
All right, so this is actually they didn't attach their name to this one, so I'm not sure whose this is. I think we showed this one earlier. Yeah, so we've shown this one. It might be Joris's or Jairus's, but thank you for that submission. Let's get into Armando's. Armando Mello, like it. Give me the time. Different activities we could potentially do. Oh, wow, look at this. Everything's lighting up. It means everything is clickable here. So we can click on the time, of course, go into different people that you could potentially call, have that nice, elegant back button. You can scroll through, alarms, go to the mall later. Always go to the mall. I'm always going to the mall. 57 beats per minute. He's using the mindfulness app, I'd say. Settings, and then camera. So I didn't even go through Mark's phone, turn off the, looks like the Bluetooth. 16 screens in this one, look. Great use of, again, I love this player with the background art that's kind of blurred out in the background. Killing it. Killing it. All right, Armando, great job. Okay, so, Dalmantas, you can actually scroll through yours too. I'll have to revisit that. That's awesome. You did fantastic. Going through this next one, which is by Laura. Laura, great job. Full screen mode. Let's dive into the time. Go through the different options for your watch, and then other settings that you can dive into. Apps down here. Great job gathering all these icons. You did a wonderful job. Let's make sure I have captured all the screens. Man, today is fun. Next up, we have Anas's. I like this, kind of a taller experience. Oh, and we can scroll through different apps. Go to the phone, see if there's any notifications. Loading my library. Finding my car. Way to think outside the box. Oh, there it is. What if it's like, what if you do that while you're in your car? You're in it. You're in your car. Great job, Anas. And interesting layout, so kind of a tall experience. Varun, we have the time. Probably swipe up. We have phone. We have calendar. We have music. And yeah, looks like we can click through all those experiences. Man. Chris, we have some cool stuff here, don't we? Right? So nice. Another buttering us up by adding our little profile pictures in there. What would be really impressive is if it actually called you if your phone rang, seeing as you're in here, Mark. That would make this one win. What if your phone started ringing right now?
That would be awesome.
That would
actually,
be like...
we could say hello.
Oh, your lift has arrived. I like this layout.
Let's see, is this one?
Dive into other settings like your alcohol, your blood alcohol level, which is why it's called the lift in the first place. Oh, and we have these controls off to the side. Take a... Ooh, 14ers near me. Ooh, Albert. Oh yeah, this is Sean's. I love... Sean's always buttering me up because he's from Colorado, so there's always like a Colorado like message or connection in there. So Sean, I like it, man. And I like how you actually integrated like shown this watch in there so we get the full experience. This is too stressful. Because there's too many good ones, man. This is killing me. Shashank's smartwatch. Find a match for your heartbeat. That's fascinating. Let's go. Ooh, Scarlett. Detecting her heartbeat. We've liked her. Zach Galifianakis. Zach Galifianakis. That's a fun picture. And again, we can chat with them. It's a match. Okay, certainly. Laura, I will show yours in a second. Let's just make sure we got all these screens in here. So detecting heartbeat of Zach's, and ours, we're not a match, but I was with Scarlett. And you know what? If I go back, I can actually message her. So that's a really cool experience and just super unique. So that's why this is going to be impossible.
Do you need some help, or should I keep on?
You keep on doing your thing. I'm going to review them all, get them down to like a manageable number to have you pick from them. Laura, I'm going to refresh yours, because I realize I might have missed some screens. Start off at the home. Pick different watch faces. We can go down here to all of these apps. I'm trying to find if there are other buttons, because there actually are. There's notifications in here. Very cool. You can click on that. We could probably maybe go back. Calendar. Nice. Calendar view. Notifications. And also voice activated messages and responses. So stressful. Let's go to Farouk's. Kind of already went through Farouk's earlier. Good job, Farouk. Michael's, just doing a quick refresh. Seeing if the screens change. Okay, we're doing pretty good there. Good job, Michael. And this should be Jairus's, I think. But yeah, we got quite a few to pick from. All right. Hello, Milton from UNLV. Sorry, I was kind of ignoring chat. Varun, I did not cover all your screens, but I think you're... I'll make sure I do that. Okay, so there's this screen too, which is your calendar of events, and then dropping in a reminder. So good job, Varun. And Martine, again, they're refreshing, things are happening. I am gonna have to find yours, Martine. So if you can go Let's see what Marc's doing.
Cool. So we've gone through the Discover screen. I'm starting to mock up what would be like a quick activity screen, which would just kind of track your progress. And then we focused on what's going to be the main meditation screen. So at this point in time, I'm actually feeling pretty comfortable. I think I could definitely go deeper into the activity screen, but it's important to just kind of convey what we wanted to accomplish there. So here we kind of have a progress wheel that would kind of, as you go through your meditation, it would kind of progressively fill. And then what I would do down here is I would basically, I'm going to click into each of these, and I want to kind of signify what each day of the week would be. And within that, somebody could kind of see what their activity looked like. So we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then we got Friday, which it isn't, but it feels like.
I know, it does feel like Friday, huh? Yeah, great job everybody on this, all these entries. That's looking really good.
Let's move this up here. Your activity.
All right, we have lots of amazing entries today. I think today's has been the most fun in terms of just ideas for the apps and everything. It's super awesome. I mean, yeah. They make me feel lazy because everybody did this within like 90 minutes.
Yeah, I'm slow.
No, you're good. You're
how I
talking
feel.
through this, and look at how amazing this looks. It looks really good. Oh, it's gonna be so hard. Man, multiple screens. I think this challenge was a little easier because you're kind of dealing with like less screen real estate.
Just do a feed. 17. Purple. Let's fix this real quick.
All right, we have about 5 minutes. Ooh, yeah. And by the way,
We have
as you, like when you get to a testing point, we do need to preview this on your phone.
cool. Let's do that now.
Okay.
I'm gonna button these up. So we'll have you. Let's see.
And you can still continue to work. We're just going to be able to see it again as you work. So let's just kind of point this out. How's this looking? Let's move this over. Might get a little crowded, but that's pretty good.
It's,
Yeah.
the discovery. So this is the actual play screen
I like
that we
it.
talked about. So we've got a dismiss button. We've got what's actually playing. We have a larger tap area. And so at this point, and we actually took the image in the background and blurred it just to kind of add a little bit of texture and atmosphere. What I'd like to do is have you tap through all the way to the home screen, but first let's connect this up as the prototype. So
Okay, yeah.
let's see.
You should be able to actually make those changes, and it will actually just update automatically. So yeah, wire up that screen.
So let's make this, if you tap to there, and we'll have that, I think it's going to be slide left. And then if you tap this, we'll have that slide up. in there, if you click the activity, that'll probably...
While you're doing that, quick preview, we will have, there we go, Zach London up next as well, just while you're working on that. You can see them right over there as well. And Tom Kirchett, which is going to be awesome, like seriously. Michael's going to be he gets sometimes shy and he has somebody kind of substitute for him.
Awesome.
But Zach, super fun. Working with you. And we're back. Okay, so let's dive into this.
Let's do it. You ready? I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. That's why we're testing them.
All right, so we're on the app icon screen. Let's launch our app. We've got Zen, so we're looking at the launch screen. Okay, we've got some value proposition screens. Become mindful, share your Zen. That sounds fun. Let's sign up. So enter email, enter password, sign up. Hello, my name is Diego. I'm your personal assistant here to guide you towards mindfulness. Diego, that's amazing. Thank you. High five. I'm your personal mindfulness assistant. What's your name? Well, in this case, my name's Amy. Diego's working here.
Persona.
Hi, Amy. How are you feeling today? Oh, what's this thing? Okay, we got a little mood spectrum. In this case, I'm feeling a little matte today. Screen color transitions. Okay. Laura's back in the equation, so Laura's working with us now. Laura, you just couldn't go
It got
away.
elevated to the next level. Diego's like, whoa, this is the meh. I don't know how to dive in. This is only my first week here on the job. Let's get Laura in.
All right, so now we're going to tap in. Let's go and explore the app. So let's look at Discover. Discover comes in. Obviously, we have some content to kind of look at. Let's choose. I'm really curious about how to get into mindfulness, so let's just go into the mindfulness meditation. So in this case, they've picked one for us. Let's say I've done this for a few times. I'm looking at the week. Let's go and check out my analytics. Here I've got some kind of, basically I've reached my goal. Got some graphs, and then I'd probably go over to the feed eventually.
Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful.
I think it's time to pick a winner.
I think so as well. So yeah, let me set this down right here. And kind of get into the top. So basically the top 3. Just give me 1 second.
I'm gonna update the published prototype.
These are our top 3 that I need you to help me pick. And we have about 2 minutes. A minute.
All right.
So we have Domantas right over here, which is on the left. Start at home, kind of go through, watch pay, add a card. I just think this is very elegant, Go shopping, use the watch pay dashboard.
Digging
and
it.
I really love this screen. I think this is like a winner there.
Yeah,
like
that
in terms
inspired me.
of Yeah, and it did. It totally did. This one again, 11 screens, Varun, kind of going through all of these experiences from the different watch faces. Phone calling you, and then that's when your phone actually rang. It was amazing. And he can also call me. So the number of screens here is just super impressive. And I just like this idea. It's like, it's getting your heart rate. It matches you with, somebody of your same heart rate. And you can also message them as well. Wow. So super tough. Man, it's so hard. Gabby, you are right. This is very difficult.
This is tough.
What are you thinking, man? I mean, it's totally up to you. And,
I like the matching with the heart rate. I like the detail.
30 seconds. 1 minute.
We're just, we're going to go with A.
This one?
Yep.
I agree 100%. Congratulations, Dalmantas Banyis. I don't know how to say your last name, but you win Creative Cloud for 1 year. That's fantastic. Went through 15 designs, and we'll be contacting you. His is awesome. You know who else is awesome? Is this guy right here, Marc. Marc Reisen. Stalk him on all the social medias. Did you have fun?
I did. I had a great time. It was definitely crunch time at the end, but Martin, I think we did it. Hopefully you'll bless me with your approval. But thanks so much everybody for participating and sharing. I'm going to drop the link in as soon as we get off. Reach out to me on Twitter, schedule time. Happy to provide feedback and chat. Just yeah, just be a friend.
Yeah, sounds awesome. You're a great, man. We appreciate you. We're going to suck you in probably coming into next year, too.
Oh, dear.
I bet you we will, since everybody loved you. Thank you, everybody.
Cool.
Stick around. We have Zach London and Tom Kircha from the XD team. We're going to pry information out of him. So stay here, guys. Thanks.